Tell me about yourself is the easiest interview question you'll get. So why do most product managers fail in a way that kills their chances before the interview gets really tough? In this video, I'll show you how to nail this question every single time with an elevator pitch using my framework that makes sure you move to the next round so you can land your next role faster and earn more money. Hi there, I'm James Ganaka. I've helped hundreds of product managers land their next role as a product management career coach, former head of product, and an interview bar raiser at Amazon. And I've seen this easily fixed mistake cost people countless opportunities. Look, getting the first round interview isn't as easy as it used to be. Most PMs are applying to 50 to 100 jobs or more when they're looking for their next role. All of that work just to get maybe a handful of interviews, and when they do finally get that chance, too many of them are failing to move to the next round in what should be a relatively easy interview compared to what will follow. This question, the one you'll be asked more than any other in your job search, is some form of tell me about yourself. And it's not just in the interview with the recruiter or hiring manager where you have to introduce yourself. You'll do it at networking events and the DMs too. These are all opportunities for you to give your elevator pitch. And most people get it wrong. Here's what I mean. Say you're a recruiter and you're excited to talk to a PM about their experience. So you ask them, "Hey James, great to chat with you today. Can you tell me a bit more about you?" "Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you today. Well, I graduated from the University of Leeds with a degree in history, then spent 3 years working as a marketing coordinator at a logistics company where I managed email campaigns and organized trade show booths. I realized I didn't really enjoy marketing anymore, and then I kind of stumbled into product management. Then I took a career break and did some soul searching and have been working on various products across different industries ever since. First in 2015, I worked for a small company before realizing what I was really passionate about was X. Then in 2019, I switched industries again before ending up at company Y. In 2025, my role model was redundant, and here I am today." Now that's not even the worst version possible. I could have gone longer, but you would have tuned out, just like the interviewer already did, waiting for you to finish. Some candidates will ramble on like this for 10 minutes, and they're wasting time not telling the recruiter what they actually want to know. Now, compare that to this answer, which progressed to the next stage nearly every time. I've been a product manager for over 11 years, and during that time, I've also built high-performing product teams from a team of 1 to an org of 12, including managers of other product managers. I've built and delivered great products around the world across software and hardware in categories like consumer electronics with AI, fitness, privacy and security, creativity, and productivity. Recently, I managed a team of 5 PMs and senior PMs at a company called ExpressVPN. While there, one of the products my team was responsible for was our password manager, which was going through design and UI iterations across our web, iOS, and Android apps before becoming an integral part of our subscription offering, which grew from 6 million to 8 million monthly active users with ARR of over $100 million. Prior to that, I spent 8 years at Amazon working in 3 different parts of the company. I split my time there between the US headquarters, where I took Amazon Echo with the Alexa AI assistant from 0 to 1, then growing that product family to reach over 500 million households worldwide. I also worked in their EU headquarters, where I owned and grew the digital subscriptions purchase experience across North America, EU, the UK, and Japan, delivering over $200 million in annual revenue. Aside of my full-time work, I also coach and mentor product managers, write for mindtheproduct.com, and I'm an organizer for a local product management community called Product Tank. That was just under 90 seconds, and it didn't even include the most important part of the framework I'm going to teach you. But in that time, you learned a lot about me and my background, because that was a version of my own elevator pitch, which I've turned into a framework that I'm going to teach you today. Yes, that's my real experience. So the next time you're asked a tell me about yourself question or something like help me learn more about you, you'll have everything you need to deliver a concise summary with confidence that communicates your value and gets you results. First is the top line summary. You want to start with a brief, engaging summary of who you are as a professional, your job, years of experience, and a few key areas you've worked in. This is about reinforcing that you meet the basic criteria for the role. You should revisit the job description when writing this, but normally you only need one version of it if you're focused on specific roles, which you should be, because casting a wide net just doesn't work if you want to get a new job quickly. When you share this summary, the recruiter or hiring manager starts checking off these mental boxes that they're looking for. And as you check them off, it helps them feel more confident that you're the right fit. Plus, you're not wasting their time with irrelevant info. Look back at that job description. What were the top 3 things it said they were looking for? Your top line summary should reinforce that you've got it. Okay, next, you want to drop 2 to 3 story threads. These are specific, intentionally selected examples that showcase your skills and achievements that they care about. You need to keep each story thread relevant and impactful. This is where you bring in what you've actually built and the outcomes you delivered. You want to be specific, not just the product or what you did, but what happened because you did it. These should be high-level story threads that you're prepared to speak to in depth if asked. You're planting the seed for telling a story that demonstrates you've solved problems that they care about. So you prime them to learn more about it even before they ask. Some recruiters will want to hear about a recent product or feature that you built. You can tease out that thread in your elevator pitch, so when the question comes up, you've already introduced it and they're ready to hear more. For your elevator pitch, you don't need to go into every job. You also don't need to tell a full story, and you don't want to read from a script or sound like a robot. This requires just writing it down and practicing it. After a few reps though, you'll be able to just glance at a couple of bullets in a doc or a note stuck on your monitor and improvise the rest. All right, finally, once you've given your summary, drop some story threads that reinforce why you're a great fit, you want to close with the final part of the framework. It's time for the turn. Now, in most cases, I'm going to tell you not to try and guess at what follow-up questions you might get, so you try to answer them ahead of time. That leads to rambling and waste time. But the one exception is when you have a chance to deliver this elevator pitch. You want to finish your pitch by connecting your experience and goals to the company or role you're interviewing for. This shows you're truly interested in and suited for the position. Most companies care why you applied, and they want you to be excited about working there. So they're going to ask, why did you apply for this role? Or why do you want to work here? When you preempt this question after giving a rich and impactful summary with some story threads, that recruiter is going to have a big smile on their face, because here is a candidate who gets it. The turn is like your finishing move for success. Here's one from a client who just moved to the next round with one of their top picks for where they want to work next. This company's mission to help people build wealth and confidence really resonates with me, and I'm motivated by the idea of joining a product-led, high-growth team in a sector I care deeply about. I'm looking for a role where thoughtful product strategy leads to measurable, positive outcomes for both the customer and the business. And this company is exactly the kind of environment I'm looking for. Now, I've obviously scrubbed out the specific company, but you get the gist. Now, when you write this part, it has to be authentic. Otherwise, it's going to sound a little bit cringe when you deliver it, right? That one wasn't mine, and so you probably could tell just a little bit. And if you struggle to come up with it, should you even be talking with this company? If you've spent time reflecting on what exactly it is you want in your next role, this part should come a lot more easily. This 3-part structure gives a concise, compelling view of your experience and qualifications. It highlights your successes, and it shows your alignment with the company's goals. Your elevator pitch can also scale down to something simpler depending on the context. Like at a networking event, for example, you want to keep it ultra brief. One interesting thing you've worked on, and then turn the conversation to them, right? I'm a senior PM just wrapped up at X company. I recently worked on a new pricing model that increased conversion. What brings you here tonight? Simple, confident, keeps the conversation going. You can even use this in a DM to a hiring manager or a recruiter, expanding it slightly. Just share 1 or 2 interesting things, plus make a direct ask about the role, right? Like, I'm a senior PM who recently built a mobile app and an analytics dashboard for X company. I've also worked on 2 projects, increasing retention 18%, cutting churn by half. Are you open to having a conversation about the PM role you're hiring for? Leave a comment below if you want me to do a video about how to conduct online outreach effectively using my own 3x3 framework. And by the way, if you're serious about leveling up your job search, subscribe to the channel. I regularly publish a new video with this kind of proven advice that works. All right, before I wrap up, let me give you 2 real examples of how this plays out. I worked with another senior product manager who was getting to final rounds but not landing offers. When I listened to how she answered, "Tell me about yourself," she was rambling for 3 to 4 minutes about her entire career history. We restructured her answer using this framework. She kept it to about 3 minutes, focused on her 3 most relevant achievements, and always ended with the turn. And with that next company she applied this framework with, she landed an offer just 3 weeks later. Had another client was nervous about interviews and would freeze up when asked to introduce himself. We wrote out his elevator pitch word for word, and he practiced it until it felt natural. Having that structure gave him confidence. He went from bombing interviews to getting multiple offers in just a couple of months. Product managers who are landing jobs in this tough market are successful because they're differentiating themselves in a way that works. Your elevator pitch is just one of the many ways I teach people how to do just that. Here's how you craft your own. Start by writing down your top line summary. This stays mostly the same regardless of who you're talking to. Your years of experience, your core expertise, some key accomplishments. Then build a library of stories. Aim for 5 to 10 stories to start that showcase different skills and outcomes. You'll pull from these depending on the role and the conversation. Be prepared to go into more depth on any of these stories in an interview. And then finally, practice the turn. For every interview, write down how you'll make this connection specific to that company and role. And do this as part of your prep before getting on the call. The question you'll be asked more than any other is some form of tell me about yourself. If you nail your elevator pitch, you'll nail that answer every single time. This is how you'll go from failing first round calls to offers in weeks. Now, this is just one part of screening calls. You probably want to plan your approach to asking questions too. For that, check out this video here on asking interview questions. I'll see you in the next one.